Okay, welcome to a quick tutorial on using the quick selection tool and a quick mask to make a selection of an object or an image or anything you're using in Photoshop. So here you see I got Photoshop open. I have uh, what kind of flower is that? I have no idea. Maybe it's a sunflower? I don't know. It's a white and yellow flower. What we're going to do is let's make a selection around all the petals and change their color to a purple or something. So the first thing we need to do is get a base selection or start our selection. And the method that I'm going to teach you today is using the quick selection tool. So if we come over here, third one down is called the quick selection tool, or W on the keyboard. And if I come over, let's see, I don't have my layer highlighted. There we go. Makes my layers highlighted. If I come over here, you'll see that I have a round circle with a plus in the middle of it, and it's basically a brush that is adding to my selection as I use it. And just like all brushes in Photoshop, you can change the size of your brush, the diameter of your brush, with the bracket keys. So I'll start off with something about like that, and I'm going to click anywhere in the white here, click and drag. I'm going to click and hold and drag, and I'm just going to make a circle around this, and then I'm going to let go. And you'll see that Photoshop does a pretty good job of noticing what color that my brush is on as I'm moving around and holding down, and it tries to grab every adjacent pixel that is close to that color, and it does a pretty good job of grabbing all the petals. You'll see that there's a petal here in the background we didn't get, one in the background here, and obviously our yellow. We don't want our yellow to be selected. We want that to stay yellow. Let's just, for purposes of this tutorial, we'll pretend that we don't want that selected. So while I'm in quick selection tool, I'm going to just keep using this tool, but I'm going to hold down the Alt key. If I hold down the Alt key, that plus turns into a minus. And when I click now, I am deselecting from my art. So now I have a pretty good selection around this on this flower. All these marching ants indicate that that is what's selected. And so those are the pixels that I can change, modify, do whatever I want to do with them, whatever Photoshop will let me do with them. So now I want to refine that selection, and the method I'm going to teach you today on how to refine that selection is using a quick mask. There are two ways to get into your quick mask mode, and that's one over here, this button right behind your foreground and background colors. There's a button that looks kind of like a screen with a little dotted circle in it. If I click that, I can enter quick mask mode, or I can also just use the Q key. So Q for quick mask. Now as I enter that mode, you'll see that part of my screen turns a pinkish red, and that pinkish red indicates everything that's deselected. So those are the pixels that are not selected. All of the transparent pixels are the pixels that are selected. So I want to change tools so I can work in the quick mask mode, and that tool that I want to use is the brush tool, or just clicking B on your keyboard will bring up that tool. And you'll see that I have a little teeny brush, so I'm going to use the bracket tool or bracket keys to make that a little bit bigger. And now I can literally paint my selection. And depending on which color you have selected, whether it's white or black, will be whether you're adding or subtracting to your selection. So white is going to add to my selection, and black is going to add to the deselected part. So let's just start right here. I'm gonna hit Command plus a couple times and zoom in a little bit. I'm gonna hold down the space bar, which gives me my little hand. I can then click and grab, kind of center that where I want it, and then let go of the space bar, and then I'm back to my brush. So whenever you clicking the space bar in Illustrator or in Photoshop will grab you that give you your hand. You can move stuff around and let go of the mouse, let go of the space bar, and you're back to your tools. That's kind of nice. Use that a lot. So if I want to take the pink out of this area, which is my deselected part, again, if I can toggle back and forth out of the quick mask mode if I want to. If I want to see my marching ants, I'll hit Q, and you can see that that selection is not completely accurate. I just want the yellow portion of the flower to be selected. So let's hit Q, and with the brush tool selected, and with the white color selected, I can click and hold and paint with the brush tool. Literally, it's kind of like painting, and I'm taking away that deselected part, or I'm selecting more of the pixels. So if I let go of my mouse and hit Q again, you'll see that those marching ants are changing as I do that. So because I'm so close here, I'm gonna use the left bracket tool or key and make this a little bit smaller so I can kind of fit into these contours a little bit better. Come over here. I'm just clicking and dragging, and then let go. Click, drag, let go. Click, drag, let go. So I'm relatively happy with that. That's pretty good. So now again, grabbing with the hand tool, pushing down on the space bar. Let's come over here and do the same thing with this petal. So I'm just clicking and holding and dragging on the mouse, left click, and I can deselect. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit more over here so I can see it a little better. Now you'll see my brush is too big to get in that corner, so I'm just going to go that far for now and grab as close as I can. Okay, now before I go any further, if you find yourself painting and it's not working the way you want it to, there's a couple things you want to look at. Number one, make sure you're on the right color. If I was on black, sorry, keep doing that. If I was on black and I was painting, oh, I'm making more pink. I don't want to make more pink. I want to make more transparent. So I'm going to Command Z and do that. So if you need to, come over here and change your color to whatever color you need, whether you're adding to or subtracting to your selection. Also, this is another good keyboard shortcut. Instead of coming over here and hitting this button to change back and forth between your foreground and your background colors, you can, as the screen just says right there, use your X key. So clicking X, you can go in and out of your modes. Was there something else? Oh yeah. Also, sometimes your hardness isn't what you want it to be, and so you might want to come over here to your brush settings and change your hardness. You'll notice as you make more and more selections with Photoshop that sometimes you want your hardness all the way up, sometimes you want it 50 or even lower percent. Well, let's show you what 20% does. So if I have it at 20%, when I come over here and let's change my color back to black, and if I come over here and color, you'll see how the edges of my color are blurred. They're not hard, they're soft. And what that'll do is that'll actually give you a little bit of your selection will be not hard. It'll give you a smoother transition between your selection. Sometimes you want that, sometimes you don't. I'm going to Control Z and undo what I just did. And I'm going to go back into white foreground color mode, and I'm going to continue with my selection up here. So I'm going to make my brush smaller using the left bracket tool or key. Oh, a little too far there, so I'm going to have to come back and which is actually a good thing. I'll show you how to do that. So I'll hit X, come back here and paint a little bit more because I went too far on that selection. Okay, that's pretty good. I'm not going to make it perfect this tutorial. Let's go through and kind of do a quick one. Okay, here's another part that I want to grab. So, oop, wrong color. So oh, you know what? And I want to change my hardness back to 100%. I think up here was all right. In fact, I could keep it that is soft, but we'll just do hard for now. So I can use a little bit bigger brush. So I'm gonna go a little bit bigger, and I'm gonna come in here. And if I wanted to get really picky on my selection, I could zoom way in, and sometimes when you're selecting stuff like human hair or Um, you got a blade of grass or a single strand of hair coming out here, you'll be zoomed way in, and your pixels look all weird, and not really be sure what you're selecting and what you're not selecting, because it kind of gets tough when it's that close. So as I'm coming around, the rest of this looks pretty good. Well, we got some stuff up here, so I'm gonna change my color to black and subtract from my selection up here. I can't get too close there, so I'll have to get them smaller, go big just to get all this stuff real quick. Go back smaller, and again, if you do something that you don't like, you can always control Command Z to back up one. But if you need to back up more, you can come over here to your history and back up as many times as you want. Like again, if I wanted to really be picky, I could get that a lot better by zooming way in. Start seeing my literal pixels, and I can make my brush smaller and just pixel by pixel pick which one I want selected and which one I don't. But Command 0, back out to full screen, and that looks pretty good. Let's test it out a little bit. Let's hit Q to come out of quick mask mode, and look at our marching ants. It looks pretty good. Also, while we're here, if you ever have a selection and you want to save it, you can. You can come up here to your selection, your select menu, come down here and save selection. And here's the name of my PSD. I'm going to make a new channel and name this Flower Petals. If I can spell and type. And I hit OK. And now I have my Flower Petals selection saved. So if something happened and I needed to, come back to it, let's say that I don't know, was working on something else, blah, 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 hours later, I'm like, oh no, I needed to change that again. I can always come up here, tier, load selection, and Flower Petals, hit OK, and I'm back. Don't have to do that, those 5 minutes of work that I already had into it. Or 10 minutes of work that we had into it. Okay, so I have my selection made. Now I want to, let's just create a new adjustment layer and change the color. So I'll come over here to my new adjustment layer, new layers button, and I'll select hue and saturation. You can also come up here to the layer, new adjustment layer, hue and saturation. It does the same thing. And I'll just leave it named hue and saturation. You'll see it ties hue and saturation adjustment layer on top of here. Now the good thing about this is we're actually going to change this layer, and our original layer stays unchanged. The pixels do not get harmed. So if we ever want to undo it, we can. We have that original still available. So if I come up here, click colorize, and I move these around, you'll see that the petals of my flower are indeed changing. I can make them dark. Go, I think we were looking at a purple or something. I don't know. So, and you'll see that everything around it that's not selected, none of that is getting changed. Only our selection is being changed. So we just turned a white flower into a purple flower. Hope that helps. Thanks.